Good morning, friends and family of First Reformed Church. I've been reading through the Gospel of Luke recently and try to read through the Gospels every year. And one of the things that impresses me about the Gospels and Jesus' life is this. Once his ministry began, how quickly Jesus became immensely popular. That's the way it was. He would go and he would teach, he would announce the kingdom, he would heal the sick, he would feed the hungry, and the word got around and the word spread. And things were chaotic much of the time just because of the crowds of people who were so drawn to Jesus for many reasons, one of which was, hey, free food. Others were, he heals everybody. There's nothing he can't do. If you need medical help and you've been seeing all the doctors and you're not getting anywhere, come to where Jesus is and he'll heal you. And you frequently read, he healed them all. And that's a source of encouragement. That's a source of comfort and hope. Jesus is the great physician, and he's bringing a kingdom when there will be no more sorrow or sickness or crying or pain. That day is coming. And this is the healing that he did when he was here and that he continues to do. That's a foretaste of what's coming, and what a world, what a life that will be. We can only imagine what that will be like. With all the chaos that surrounded Jesus so much of the time, how did he deal with that? What did he do to keep himself centered or focused or filled, whatever word you want to use? And I came across recently this verse in Luke 5:16. Jesus didn't have a lake home, didn't have a place to go. He didn't even have a residence of his own. So how did he recharge? How did he stay deeply connected with his Heavenly Father? And there's this simple line from Luke 5:16 that says, Jesus often withdrew to the wilderness for prayer. Jesus often withdrew to the wilderness for prayer. He got away. He'd get away by himself. There's a mountain right along the Sea of Galilee, Mount Arbel, a large hill. But the rabbis made use, they'd climb that steep slope up Mount Arbel, and that would be a place in the wilderness to get away from it all. You could see for miles, you could see all of the Sea of Galilee. And I'm certain Jesus spent time there, perhaps many times. But he got away out into the quiet, not the woods, because there really weren't trees except for olive groves. But he got away out in where it was quiet, where there were not crowds, where he could think, where he could listen, where he could reflect, where he could pray. And you and I need that. We need that more than ever. I want to just share with you one way that I do that works well for me. And I really encourage you to think, give some significant thought. What works for you? But one thing that works for me is what I call a prayer walk. If I get out, I often will go to the Calhaven Trail that goes from Kalamazoo to South Haven. And I'll walk on that. I'll start at 10th Street and where the caboose is, if you've ever been to that end of the trail. And then I'll walk west towards South Haven. And it's very interesting because as I begin that walk, I can hear traffic noise. It's not very far from Highway 131, so you can hear the sounds of the traffic. But as you walk, you make headway. You get distance slowly, but in a half hour or an hour, you get several miles away. And it's very interesting to me how with every passing minute or few minutes, you got the traffic noise and you've got the sounds of nature. And with every few minutes, the traffic noise comes down a little, and the sounds of the birds and the wind come a little higher. And then just keep walking and listening, and the traffic noise gets a little quieter. The sound of the birds and the wind and nature gets a little louder. And it's kind of a beautiful thing that the noise of the one diminishes. The noises of God, his creation, get louder. And there's kind of a spiritual parallel that happens with me too. The noises in my mind and the distractions are loud, and God's voice might be barely discernible. But as the time goes by, they switch places. And it's easier to hear the voice of God as things settle down inside my mind and inside my heart. And I have to wonder if something like that was Jesus' experience when he withdrew to the wilderness for prayer. So my question for you is, where's your wilderness? And how can you be spending time in prayer to face everything God calls you to face in your life? I wish you God's blessing as you reflect on that. And when you get an answer, spend some time there. Have a great day.